Hey, what the? You can always call.
No time. You, me, Game Exchange, Roadhog Overwatch now.
You just got back from the movies, what's the rush?
Maui.
Maui?
Maui.
Hey everyone, Gaijin Goombah here. Yes, I know I'm talking about Overwatch again, and if my YouTube suggestions page is proof of anything, it's that everyone is still talking about Overwatch. But gosh darn it, we just found this out and I really want to talk about it. Roadhog, the one-man apocalypse of the Outback, is actually a Polynesian god. Well, demigod. Okay, so you recall my previous episode talking about my top 10 Overwatch cultural skins, right? Well, apparently, I wasn't even close to being done when it comes to Roadhog. To recap for those of you who missed it, I discussed how Roadhog's alternate skins, Islander and Toa, were not only visually, but linguistically represented in Polynesian culture, with Toa being a native Maori word for champion, winner, and brave man. His other skin, Mako, yeah, it's his name, and in Polynesian Maori means shark, and that's cool and all, but nothing compared to what else I found about Roadhog's Polynesian design. Because from what I can tell, the hook-slinging piggy of Overwatch is modeled after one of the greatest heroes in Polynesian mythology, Maui. Okay, so let me drop a story for you guys really fast for context. According to New Zealand mythology, long ago there lived two gods, Tauranga, goddess of vegetation, life and death, and Makea Tutara, guardian of the underworld. Together, the two of them bore their fifth son, Maui, but he was born prematurely. Believing the worst, Tauranga covers Maui in a tress of her hair and releases him into the sea. However, Maui was not dead, and the spirits of the sea cared for him until he was old enough to return to land. While it was more than a weird reunion, nevertheless, Maui was accepted by his parents and four brothers. Oh yes, this is New Zealand mythology, the native home of Roadhog, but shh, don't get ahead of me. From what I researched, the life of a Polynesian god was fairly humble, and Maui was no different. Living in caves or grass huts and had a diet of simple things in nature like raw fish, roots, and berries, since at the time the creation of fire hadn't happened yet. And in a way, this is a lifestyle very similar to Roadhog's after the Australian Liberation Front destroyed the Australian Omnium's fusion core that turned their home into a wasteland. Not much in the way of modern civilization, and surviving on what they could. Now that isn't to say that Polynesian gods lived in an irradiated wasteland, in fact far from it, but between Maui and Roadhog they lived pretty simple lives living off what they could find. And that's not all they had in common. Mako Roadhog Rutledge has been noted as being a ruthless junker who devoted his life to crime sprees and selfish mayhem. And while Maui was never that bad a guy, he's done some pretty questionable things as well. Okay, so get this. One of Maui's first exploits was to slow down the passing of days by having his brothers help him snare the very sun from the sky, then proceeded to beat the living out of it with a jawbone until it promised to stop traveling the sky so quickly. This ensured that people had more time in the day to get things done, but that was a pretty brutal way of doing it. Maui was also noted for cruelly mistreating his wife, the sister of the sun, Roe. Since she was beautiful and he was ugly, he demanded that they switch faces. When she rejected, he basically forced the incantation on her while she slept. Awakening to discover her new ugly face, she was so distraught that she banished herself to the underworld to become the goddess of death, introducing death to humanity. Damn, Maui, that's harsh. Now this might be reaching a little bit, but that story in turn may explain all of Roadhog's masks on top of his questionable and brutal behavior. But hey, to be fair, a lot of Maui's trickster behavior has actually benefited mankind a whole lot. And this is the point where we reel in the biggest connection between Roadhog and Maui, their hooks. One of Roadhog's trademark abilities is his 70-foot hook shot that just really ruins everyone's day. It can hook robots, ninjas, and even mechs with considerable ease. I get that Roadhog is strong, sure, but I seriously doubt he has the strength to one-arm pull a 2,000-pound mech to himself without even so much as a drop of sweat. So what's the secret? Culture! Maui also had a legendary hook called the Manea Kalani. Dang, Pat, can I buy a few more vowels? I kid. But in all seriousness, this fish hook of the heavens, as it was called, was awesome. So here's the thing. As a demigod, Maui had all kinds of powers like shapeshifting and amazing strength. But when it came to fishing, he wasn't the best. In fact, he would trick his brothers and steal their fish and claim them for his own. And in turn, his brothers teased him for his lack of fishing skills. So his father gave him this sacred fishing hook that would give him the luck that he needed. Full of renewed confidence, his brothers allowed him back on their boat, rowed out to sea, and Maui cast his line. And only after a brief moment, his hook snagged something. Thinking he had caught a massive fish, Maui told his brothers to row with all of their might while he pulled the line. For 2 days Maui and his brothers were at this, but it wasn't a fish that he caught, it was land. As his brothers paddled, Maui fished up massive chunks of earth from beneath the water, continuing to tell his brothers not to look back or else they would lose their catch. But one brother turned, and in awe dropped his oar. With this, the change in tension snapped the line and sent the sacred hook into the heavens, becoming a constellation. And thus, the 8 islands of Hawaii were born. Could you freaking imagine what Roadhog could do with that kind of power? He could probably just hook the entire control point to his team at the spawn point. Anywho, it's been a lot of fun looking at Roadhog's Polynesian heritage, and I hope I'll be able to get into more detail with all of the Overwatch heroes. But until then, thanks for watching, everyone! If you like cultural analysis and all things geeky, consider subscribing, because I love nothing more than digging into the cultural backgrounds of nerdom's finest content. And if you're looking for more, check out these sweet annotations or links in the description to learn more about the cultural references of Overwatch, or the true-to-life origins of Star Wars Jedi. But until next time, everyone, this is Gaijin Goombah, signing out. So, you think you'll culturally analyze that new movie Moana in light of all this?
We'll see, my friend. We'll see.